This conference will now be recorded.
Sorry.
That's okay. I call the order the August 20th, 2020 regular virtual meeting of the North Augusta Planning Commission. And we'll start off with a roll call. And as usual, I will call your name as commissioner. And then if you would state your first and last name. Commissioner Key.
Timothy Key, present.
Commissioner Watts. Commissioner Mackey.
Joanne Mackey, present.
Commissioner Crawford.
Christine Crawford, present.
Commissioner Clark.
Bob Clark, present.
And I'm Britton Williams. Approval of the minutes. Are there any deletions, additions, or corrections? If not, they are approved as distributed. And are there any changes to the agenda, Ms. Hodges?
I have none.
Okay. I'm gonna, before we jump into the applications, I did want to just acknowledge our new North Augusta City Administrator, Mr. Jim Clifford, is on with us. And I don't know, Ms. Clifford, if you care to say any words or not. But you're more than welcome if you wanted to say anything.
Well, sir, thanks for the opportunity to be here today, and it's great to be in my first leadership forum here with the North Augusta Planning Commission. Curious to see how this works. We have a way we did it in the Army, and I'm sure this is slightly different, so this will be an educational experience for me as well. So thanks for allowing me to be part of the forum today, and look forward to seeing how this goes.
Well, we say that every month. We're curious as to how it goes as well. So, all right. At this point, we're going to jump right in to the item number 5, application RZN 20-003, a request by, there's a lot of feedback, Libby, I'm getting. Libby, can you hear me? Okay, I'll go ahead. Hopefully y'all can hear me. I'm getting a lot of feedback. Application RZM 20-003, a request by WTC of Martintown LLC to rezone plus or minus 0.45 acres located at 1132 Francis Street, TPN 007-16-01-001 from R10, medium lot, single family residential to GC general commercial. This will be a consideration, and we will be making a recommendation to City Council. At this time, I'm going to open up the public hearing, and I'm going to ask Ms. Hodges if you have anything in particular you would like to share with us on this.
Thank you, Britton. As we stated before, this is a property at 1132 Francis Street. This is right behind, right at the corner of Atomic Road and East Martintown Road. As you stated, it's currently zoned R10. The adjacent parcel is zoned GC, general commercial. It's about 0.45 acres. And if you have any particular questions, I'll be happy to answer those.
Okay. I'll just jump in. Just one little clarification, Ms. Hodges, on page 5 of the staff evaluation, on that first paragraph, the second to the last sentence, a section that says the proposal does not add mixed use to the neighborhood fabric, but may offer an opportunity to replace an aging commercial structure and offer added pedestrian access to the area, which currently provides limited protected pedestrian access where recent road improvements end. Or is that just stating where the bike path ends on Atomic Road? I just wouldn't clarify that statement.
I'm sorry. SCDOT recently did a lot of improvements down Atomic Road, but those did not come around the corner onto West Martintown.
Okay, just talk about going around the corner. Okay, very good. That's the only question I had for you. Any questions from commissioners for Ms. Hodges? Okay, at that point, I'm going to ask the applicant or applicants if you would do me a favor, state your name and your address for the record. And if there's more than one person who will be speaking, that person needs to state their name and address for the record as well. So who do we have for the applicant?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members and staff, my name is Jim Price. I represent the petitioner. My address is 107 Flowing Well Road in Wagner, South Carolina.
Well, nice to have you with us, Mr. Price.
Glad to be here.
Okay, good. All right, at this time, anything you would like to share with us concerning this that we need to know about? This is your time to talk.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is a 0.45 acre piece of property that is on the rear property line of the Sprint food stores that used to be a Greg's Gas Plus. Mr. Andy Jones purchased these locations from Greg's Gas Plus, and the facility is certainly dated and does not fit well with the new format that Mr. Jones does in the Sprint food stores. I think most folks in North Augusta know the store we built over on Walnut Lane in 25. This will be very similar to that. What in fact our intentions are would be to remove the store as it sits now and move it back so that it will be a more up-to-date Sprint food stores and comply with the new upscale convenience that this facility is looking to do. The property right now is on residential. The future land use plan does call for it to be general commercial. We certainly will comply and increase setbacks and landscaping. But we believe this will be one of the beginnings for the revitalization of Martintown Road, which I think all see that it could help kick this off for the city of North Augusta. I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, any commissioners, if you have any questions for the applicant, this is the time Mr. Price would like to hear from you.
Mr. Price, I had a question. And I know that this is probably not something that has to be done, but when I rode over there today, if you go today, you will see there's a large, massive hedgerow of trees and bushes that block it from being next to a house on the back of that lot. And I wondered I heard you just say that you're planning to do landscaping, but I wondered if there was a possibility of a privacy fence down that side.
Provided it would be required or needed in order to, the adjoining property beside of us is another rental property that,
Right.
in fact, have called us to see if we wanted to purchase that.
Right.
We have no intention of doing that. So we're simply wanting to upgrade this facility. If a security fence or a privacy fence is required to inhibit the visual look from the rear of the store, which that will be the rear of the store.
Right.
Miss Mackey, we would certainly entertain that in the approval, in the planning process when we're doing our civil drawings.
Well, I know it is not required. I guess, just when I went through, I did ride over there today and just looked at it, and you're saying that next rental house may be gone. I just thought about the fact that if there were children in that rental house, they would maybe run over to that gas station and kind of set themselves up and maybe get run over or hurt or something. I don't know. I just thought, well, we could really separate them off from that. But that's not required, and I know you're going to landscape. So, whatever you feel is necessary, I'm fine with that. I did want to say that on page 5 that Britton had brought up, there are 2 or 3 statements to me that are very supportive of this. So I thought that was a good point for you on page 5.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions from commissioners? Okay, well, I'm gonna, ask for public comments. Mrs. Hodges, have we had any public comments?
Yes, sir. We did receive a couple of public comments.
Okay, like to read those.
The first I'll read is from Daryl Gilliland. And he lives next door to the property that is being requested for rezoning. He writes that my name is Daryl Gilliland and I am 57 years old. I have owned this house since 2000, but I've been associated with this house for over 57 years. You see, my grandparents owned this home before me. I used to help my grandfather weld in the shop behind the house every summer. Every summer, my parents would drive us from Alexandria, Virginia, Charleston, South Carolina, and Virginia Beach, Virginia, wherever we were living at the time. My dad was in the Navy, so we tended to be stationed in those areas. But every summer, we would make the trip, and then after a brief stay, my parents would head back home. Currently, my home and the ones next to me are zoned R10, meaning that my property, which is around 19,000 square feet, cannot be divided. My hopes at one time was to be able to divide the property into 2 parcels and build a duplex on the property facing Atomic Road. The state was kind enough to cut me a driveway coming in from Atomic Road when they took my property for the widening project. But after finding out that I could not divide the property, I was stuck. That dream was gone. Now you tell me that this corporation is wanting to buy the property next to me and enlarge their property, which is now going to be closer to my bedrooms. I am going to have no buffer to deaden the trash truck when it picks up the trash or the fuel trucks delivering the fuel. Hopefully you are not going to tell me that this corporation is going to be able to get the city's members to approve this change from R10 to commercial simply because they are a corporation and I am only a peon. This change, if allowed to happen, will decrease whatever property values that we have. It will destroy the house next to me, which has been there for over 60 years, and evict a nice couple that has 2 young boys, one who just turned 16 and got his license. Please do not allow this to happen. And Mr. Gilliland also provided a petition signed by 12 members of the adjacent neighborhood, and those will be included in the minutes of this meeting. I guess I should clarify, the petition opposes the rezoning.
Okay.
The second comments I got to read that were provided to me is from Janitza Kafresi-Wirtz. She says, hello, I am Janitza Kafresi-Wirtz, and my husband, Brandon Newman, along with our 2 sons, aged 14 and 16, have been residing in the house at 1132 Francis Street, North Augusta, 29841, since 2016, when I was an active duty soldier stationed at Fort Gordon, Georgia, and a 68C Army nurse at Dwight D. Eisenhower Army Medical Center. I was medically retired from the U.S. Army in 2018 due to an assault that was inflicted upon me. Currently, I am not working. I'm a disabled veteran, and I go to VA appointments regularly. My husband is a type 1 diabetic and works at Crossroads Building Supply here in North Augusta, and our sons attend school at North Augusta High School, 9th and 11th grade. If the house is torn down, we have nowhere else to go. My youngest son is asthmatic, and my husband is immune compromised due to complications from his juvenile diabetes. This is not a time to have to move around and uproot my family during a pandemic. Please keep us informed, as we are a renter who has always paid the owner the rent on time and feel as if we are not being informed to what is all going on, and we have no other place lined up to move to. I have no family in this area, and as a veteran with children, I feel as I'm not being represented the way I should be. If please someone could call me on my cell, and she gives her phone number. Thank you for your time and prompt response. And I did call her this evening and ask for her permission to read her comments out loud.
Very good. Okay. Were those only comments, Ms. Hodges?
Those were the only ones I had.
Okay.
And I do have one correction to make to the staff report. I noticed on the cover, it does not state that this is or will be in the HC overlay.
Okay, I'll wait for it. All right, at this point, this is a chance for the applicant. If you would like to respond to the public comments, or if there are opportunity for the commissioners as well. Mr. Price, anything you'd like to, any response you'd like to have concerning the comments that were read by Ms. Hodges?
Mr. Chairman, we're certainly cognizant of the neighborhood that is around us. This facility is existing. What we're simply doing is increasing or enhancing the viability of this project. It will look better. It will function better. We're not adding any more ingress or egress. We will increase the buffering that is surrounding the area. As I said, this property does in fact sit in the future land use plan that is zoned general commercial.
Okay. Mr. Price, I just want your clarification. You did say, Ms. Hodges as well, both Mr. Gillian and Mrs. Works, they are renters, right? So you, Mr. Price,
That's
you're
correct.
dealing with the owner of the house, is that correct? Which is not the folks who are responding?
That is correct. We have dealt with the owner.
And he owns both the houses?
No, Mr.
I have
Gillian
no-
owns his own house.
Okay.
No, he owns the house. He owns the house that we have under contract.
Okay, I thought you'd said there was another house he owns as well. Okay.
There is a house that's beside his house that we were called wanting to know if we wanted to acquire that property also, but we have no need for that property.
That's the one that would be, if I'm facing the house,
second-
y'all
yes, it would be the
purchase
second-
the one on the left.
The second lot, yes, be the second lot.
Okay. Yes. And Mr. Gillian.
I guess
is-
I'm confused. So who owns the one right behind it? The one that you have the zoning sign on, Libby, who owns that house? He's a renter or he's the owner?
That is a renter.
You're
Okay.
reading
Well,
something.
where does
from
Mr.
a reference.
Gillian live?
Mr. Gillian lives one lot further in along Francis Street. He lives next door. If you look at this,
Okay.
plat on the screen, you can see his name on the left-hand side.
Okay.
We don't know Mr. Gillian.
Right. Okay. Any other questions from commissioners for the applicant or any response? Okay, I'm gonna close the public. Oh,
I have a question. This is,
Mr. Key, okay.
yeah, Ms. Hodges, what is the required, buffer between, the commercial building? What is the, requirement?
It would be a class 3 buffer, which would be 15 feet.
A more descriptive?
15 feet.
Just 15 feet, no shrubs, no nothing?
Well, no, you would have to plan it to the standard. Hang on just a second. So that would be 1 + 1 tree per 50 feet for a large tree, 1 + 1 per 50 feet small tree, and at least 0.7 buffer points per linear foot, which usually means that you fill in kind of in between with shrubs.
And so, are you finished, Commissioner Key? I had a quick question.
Yeah, I'm absorbing it, yes.
Go ahead, Commissioner Crawford.
So, I guess, are there any thoughts, or would you all be willing to do anything extra since that is a residential neighborhood? And I do understand his concerns about layout. If there is going to be a dumpster near his home, what does that are there any allowances for being next to someone's home?
Are you asking me?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. If once we start our work and we see what the green area is that would be on the rear setback of the property, we will enhance that to screen the adjoining property owners. If there is a need for a privacy fence, we would not have a problem putting up the privacy fence.
So I have a question about the privacy fence, and this probably will not be what I should ask, but I'm going to. So if they're willing, Libby, to put up a privacy fence, can we adjust how many trees, shrubbery, whatever, and that could make kind of a better, like less of this to enhance just having less trees, a few less trees, and then having the fence?
There is currently no credit system for fences instead of buffer plantings. So there's no way to do that within the current code.
Okay.
When an area is being gentrified or it's going from residential to commercial, and that seems like that corridor, is taking place, what protections do we have in that when that process is taking place? It's like, well, it's commercial now, and then this house is, the minimum amount of buffer. What do we have as far as teeth to assure that folks are not in jeopardy doing the changing of neighborhoods? We don't have a credit system, then what do we have? No, to the rezoning change. How do we insist that care is taken?
I guess I'm not quite following your question.
Okay, if we agree in city council, if we have a consensus that and propose to city council that this zoning change be made to this one lot, we've got houses all up the corridor, and the natural progression is that it's moving to be more commercial than it is residential, and the highest and best use for the owners of those properties probably would be commercial. So I'm saying is doing that change. How do we protect the folks that are still living in the houses? These are renters right at the moment. And they have some rights, not right of ownership, but what about the next person up the line that has ownership of the house? And then, we see it necessary that the highest and best use is for that corridor to be converted into commercial. So how do we protect the residents?
That would be through the comprehensive plan over time.
Yeah, I'm
So
talking
there
about
really-
right now. So right now, if we say, yeah, it makes sense, but our guidelines say the buffer is to be this and it's kind of sparse, then if the potential buyer of the property decide to just follow the code to the letter, then that's just it.
That's correct.
Now doing this,
Okay. By changing this zoning to GC, you would be allowing them to do whatever it is they're allowed to do in GC within the 8 highway corridor overlay.
so there's no way that it's either yes, we agree that the zoning has changed, make the recommendation, and the city council takes it from there. There's no way that we can make the recommendation with conditions.
No, we cannot do conditional zoning.
Okay.
That's currently illegal.
And one other question. There was a petition rather, I'm sorry, that was mentioned in the letter. Do you have the petition or?
I do not have a hard copy of the petition. I have a scan of it.
Okay, and how many signatures?
There were 12 signatures on it.
And they're right nearby their neighbors?
Right, they're, all of them are on Francis, well, 11 are on Francis Street. One is on Short Street, which is the next street up.
Okay.
I guess I'll go back to this page 5 again, and on page 5, there are several comments here that it's designated as commercial district on the future use map. So, I mean, I do feel for the people on the petition, but it's probably coming. And this one is not going to be as aggressive as some things could be, because this is just a continuation of a property that was there when they probably did rent the property, that it was close to their home and they would be close to a gas station. I mean, when they rented there. And we're all in situations like that. I myself am in that situation. I mean, I go every day, what's coming, you know? So, I can understand the concern. I feel for the concern. I feel like they are going to try to do what's best for the neighbors. And they are going to do the green space there. But, I mean, I think it's inevitable that it's coming. Do you agree with that? Libby, you agree with that?
I'm not sure I agree or disagree. I don't think that's my place here.
He's
Yeah.
not gonna give you. Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, I just saw on that last paragraph on page 5 that this parcel is designated as a commercial district on the future land use map. And above that is another sentence that kind of contradicts it somewhat by saying, but we need to encourage redevelopment. However, that should be balanced with prioritizing in existing neighborhoods, reinvestment in those neighborhoods. So we're kind of on the flipping back and forth on this to me. I mean, one minute we're like, I myself feel 1 minute I'm on one side of the fence and on the next minute I flip to the other. But I do feel like it's pretty inevitable, because if you look at it, these people are backed up to Atomic Road. That's a busy road. That's busy right there.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have opportunity to talk further about the very good point. So at this point, I'm gonna close the public hearing. And unless there's any other comments from commissioners specifically to the applicant in response or concerning the public comment. Okay, I'm gonna close the public hearing. And at this point, any other questions for the applicant? Okay, so between commissioners, comment. Commissioner Maggie, you make good points. Any other thoughts on that?
Right now I have a low battery, so I will let someone else speak and then I'll get back with you. Sorry.
Right. Commissioner Key, anything you want to share?
I am in agreement that is an existing commercial use, and the expansion will look better. Probably will suit the area better. I just want to hear, I'm going to put a fence and I'm going to shield those people until until the commercial aspect of moving down that corridor takes place. And I'm all for it. I just want to make sure that the neighbors are buffeted more so than what's in that particular zone. That's my only concern.
Right, that's a very good point. Very good point.
I think it's a good thing. It's just that we have no guards in protecting the people right next to them, other than a few feet and a few trees.
Exactly.
And a little kid backing up. That's my only concern.
Commissioner Crawford, any comments from you?
I don't think I can add anything else except to just affirm what Commissioner Key said. And so it is, the same concern about there being no buffer, and none of us, even if our neighborhood is transitioning, would want to wake up next to a dump truck, right, emptying the size containers that they have in commercial use. And so that's just as well as and not being fenced from it, especially with the activity that is ongoing at a gas station. So it's not like some other commercial uses where maybe the use and it's pretty constant traffic. So I agree with Commissioner King.
Okay. Commissioner Watts, I see you're on. Any comments from you, sir? Okay. Commissioner Clark?
No.
Okay. All I'll say is my biggest issue was the buffering. As Commissioner Key had mentioned, I think if, Mr. Price, if they will be able to do the necessary buffering as far as assistance with a fence and what's necessary to help with that. I feel for the folks who wrote in. Unfortunately, the owner of the property is the one who's selling, and unfortunately, it is the renter who, Ms. Wirtz, who is getting control of that, and that's unfortunate. But unfortunately, the owner is the one selling, and is really putting them in that difficult situation. But I do think this is something that needs to be done. So, Commissioner Watts, I see you on here. Anything you want to say? Okay. Commissioner Clark? Commissioner Watts?
Mr. Chairman, Bob, you have a comment.
Okay,
I was just
finally
saying, the
got me
buffering.
unmuted.
Oh, go ahead.
If you can hear me, I'm in agreement with all of you about the privacy fence, and I would hope that the applicant would see fit to do that, even though he's maybe not required to, just from the goodwill of the neighborhood.
Yeah, good. Commissioner Clark?
I was just gonna say that the buffering that's there now is essentially is the same as going to be put on the other side of it. So that house sitting there has been connected to the gas station in the same manner with no more buffer than the trees. I'm saying whenever that gas station was put there, no other buffer was required. It's been that way for years. So it's just moving it down one lot. That's all we're doing is moving the boundary. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
but
I'm sorry, Commissioner Crawford, go ahead.
no, but I was gonna say, but that's slightly different because the person in that other home, he didn't, move into that home, move into his grandparents' home, buy it with being next to the gas station. So while it is moving it in a similar fashion, I don't think that it's quite the same for someone who wakes up in their houses than adjacent to it. So that's all I was wanted to.
That's a good point.
Also, I'm sorry, I was going to make one comment to go along with Ms. Crawford. And those trees that are there have been growing there. I mean, I'm not originally from here, but those trees have been there forever, so to speak, and they have thickened and grown and all of that. So we're going to have new trees planted. And, when I brought up the fence, again, I want to say this to Mr. Price. I understand that is not required, but I do see that y'all are trying to make this a better situation. And it's not a contingency for me to vote on it to be accepted or not. But I just, again, I guess I opened that can of worms, but I do see that y'all are trying to work with the neighbors. And so that's how I'll leave that.
Okay. No other comments at this time. I would entertain a motion.
Don't forget to unmute.
Somebody's got to get somebody. One of y'all got to
Somebody-
step up. Somebody can
We
make a
gotta do it
motion.
on, yeah, we can't even vote. I'll do it.
ahead.
I move the planning commission recommend to city council the rezoning as requested in RZM 20-003.
That's a motion for Commissioner Clark. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, Commissioner Mackey is a second. Okay, any final comments from commissioners?
Yes, is there an opportunity for the presenter to, is there a response? Because we talked a lot about the fence, and I don't know if he had if we given him an opportunity to respond, or is it not? Is that inappropriate?
I think he stressed that he would be open to doing that.
Okay. I just want to make sure I was clear.
Mistaken. Is that correct, Ms. Hodges?
That is what I heard.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll just say one thing, Mr. Price, the gentleman who's bought these stations, he is definitely a person who cares about his community and is very diligent in wanting to do the right thing on all these stations, has taken a lot of effort into making sure that all the stations he's bought are being renovated properly. And this is not somebody, you know, that's out of state, but someone that has a vested interest in this CSRA community. And I do think that is a positive. So at this point, I'm going to do a roll call. So we have a motion to rezone from R10 to GC by Commissioner Clark. We have a second from Commissioner Mackey. And then I'll just go down the roll call and say yes or no. Commissioner Key.
Abstain.
Okay, abstain. All right. Commissioner Watts.
Affirmative.
Yes. Commissioner Mackey.
Yes.
Commissioner Mackey.
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Crawford.
I'm gonna vote no.
Okay. That's what. Commissioner Clark.
Affirmative.
Yes. And
Yes.
I vote yes. So we have, Ms. Hodges, if I'm correct, we have 4 yeses, we have 1 no and 1 abstain. Is that correct?
That is what I have recorded.
All right, Mr. Price, hope y'all will do the right thing, and we appreciate your time tonight.
He's on mute.
He's on mute. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We're looking forward to coming back and helping revitalize Martintown Road. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to jump to item 6. Application RZM 20-004, a request by Glenn Brooker to rezone plus or minus 2.02 acres located on West 5 Notch Road, TPN 005-19-06-005 from PD Plan Development to R5 Mixed Residential. Again, this will be a consideration of this applicant, and will be making a recommendation only to City Council. At this point, I would ask Ms. Hodges, do you have anything you would like to share concerning this application?
This is a fairly straightforward application. This is previously zoned PD, which was a plan development that was applied for, was it in 2000 or 2002? And They have requested, it was in 2000, I apologize. They've requested to change it to R5 mixed residential. They state their intention is to build single-family townhomes. However, as we note on all of our projects that come through with R5, there are several other residential types that would be allowed under the R5 zoning. If you have any particular questions, I'll be happy to answer those.
Okay, and I'm going to open the public hearing. I apologize. I should have done that before I let you talk. Ms. Hodges.
I need to, could I speak 1 second? I need to recuse myself from this. So how do I do that just from home?
You just need to mute yourself and not respond. You're allowed to stay on.
Okay,
Just mute yourself and don't respond.
okay.
And Ms. Hodges will get you the paperwork you need to actually officially fill out the form on that. The only question I had, Ms. Hodges, is on page 6 of your staff report. Is it common for a PD to use a shared driveway? I thought that was kind of interesting. I don't remember, we haven't seen that too often, have we? Or is that?
In this case, I think it was probably the best decision that could be made at the time. A lot of our PDs are a lot bigger now, so it's a very different situation.
Okay.
So I don't see it as completely unusual, but this one's a little bit different because it's such a small piece of property.
Right. Okay. Okay. Any other questions from commissioners to Ms. Hodges? Okay, not hearing any. I want to ask the applicant if you would unmute yourself and please give us your name and address for the record, please. I believe, Mr. Brooker, you are unmuted. I just need you are live. I just need you to state your name and address for the record, please.
We're trying to get him back online.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Gotta love technology.
It's great when it works. Mr. Brooker, I don't know if you can hear me, but you seem to have two profiles going on.
Yep, he does. He has one camera where I can see him and then one that is nobody.
And I can't seem to get it to turn back on.
We can't hear you, Mr. Brooker. Can you hear
I'm
us?
muted. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Excellent.
Glenn Brooker,
Your address, sir?
okay, it's Glenn Brooker, Hayes Drive, Appling, Georgia.
Okay. Anything you'd like to share with concerning this application, Mr. Brooker? We're not hearing you.
So what I did,
Now I can hear you.
can you hear me?
Right now.
Lip-
I can hear you.
Right
Can you
now,
hear me?
Let me try again. Yes, sir.
we can hear you.
I hear you. Okay.
Right
Okay,
now.
we got you.
Just talk.
699 Hagee Ridge Drive, Appling, Georgia. So, everything is, he has all that in. Okay. No, not this time. Oh. Oh. Okay. Okay. Have anything to add?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. there's nothing, the applicant has nothing to add.
Am I
Ms.
coming in?
Hodges, do we have any public comments?
There are no public comments for this one.
Okay. Oh, goodness. Okay, I'm gonna close the public hearing. Commissioners, any questions for the applicant? Whether he can talk or not, I don't know.
Just make sure if you'd like to speak, if you unmute yourself.
Okay, there's no questions for the applicant. Then,
Okay, I'm back. Can you hear me now?
we can hear you. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Technology.
I know. We can hear you good now. Anything you'd like to share with us? Just kind of tell us some idea of the project and what you're looking to do.
Yes, I'm looking to build 16 townhouses there, similar to the ones that I've got going up on LeCompte Avenue. Are you familiar with those?
I believe you came in front of us a couple of years ago. Those are the ones behind the Posey Funeral Home. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, sir. They're being built now. They're under
How are those
construction. They'd be. I'm sorry.
How are those coming along?
Coming real good. I should have them finished in about 2 months.
Okay. And maybe just to refresh everybody, would you kind of give us a little description of what those look like and what you're hoping to do exactly here?
Okay, they'll be similar. And I have also, to your question about the shared driveway, I have the old car wash under contract too. And hopefully it will be torn down and I will put something similar on that piece also.
Okay. Are there any questions that the commissioners have for Mr. Brooker concerning this at all? This is your chance to ask. Okay.
Commissioner Clark, maybe I missed something. I thought I understood the gentleman say 16 townhouses. The drawing shows 12, if I'm reading it right. Which one's right?
I'm sorry, it's going to be 12.
Okay.
I purchased the property next to it and it's going to be 4 on that one. So 16 total. I'm sorry. This one 12.
That's fine. I just want to make sure we had it right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions from commissioners? Okay. Comments among commissioners, a chance to talk among ourselves. Anything that anybody wants to share? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, this is Larry
Yeah,
Watts.
Commissioner Watts. Yes, sir.
I think that, in my opinion, it looks like a fairly appropriate project for this area.
I agree. Okay. Anybody else? Any comments, Commissioner Key, Commissioner Crawford, that you'd like to share? Don't have to, just your chance. Okay, and at this point, I would entertain a motion. Commissioner Clark, you did so good on the last one. You want to give this one a try?
Oh, I can do that. Move that we recommend the city council approval of rezoning as requested in RZM 20-004 for West 5 Knots Townhomes.
All right, that is from PD to mixed residential. All right, that was a motion from Commissioner Clark. Is there a second?
I'll second, Commissioner Clark.
Commissioner Crawford. Final discussion. Okay, then we'll go down again. Roll call. Commissioner Key, yes or no?
Yay.
That's a yes. All right. Commissioner Watts.
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Crawford.
Yes.
Commissioner Clark.
Yes.
And I vote yes. So, Mr. Brooker, I think you're 2 for 3 with us so far. So anyway, you did a good job on the last project and what you've done over there by the post office. So we're looking forward to what you do here. So we appreciate your efforts.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right, we are now going to item 7, application MW 20-003, a request by HR Developers LLC for approval of a waiver from the property line buffer requirements of Article 10, landscaping of the North Augusta Development Code. The request affects approximately plus or minus 1.43 acres within the HC Highway Corridor Overlay District, Zone GC, General Commercial, and located near the corner of Walnut Lane and Edgefield Road, TPN 010-10-04-062. And this, folks, will be a quasi-judicial hearing. And what that means is I will ask the applicants when we get to that time to state your name and address, and then I'll ask you to swear to tell the truth. Once you do that, then we will proceed. And then for the commissioners, there will be 5 criteria that we will be voting on to take that to the motion. So anyway, at this point, I'm going to open up the public hearing. And if the applicant or applicants are here, if you'd like to come on and state your name and address so I can swear you in.
Yes, this is David Banks. I'm the engineer representing the applicant. I believe the applicant is on tonight. But my name is David Banks, 1233 Augusta West Parkway.
All right,
Augusta,
Dave,
Georgia.
please raise your right hand and you swear to tell the whole truth.
I'm sorry, let me get the camera on.
I don't think this is the first time you've had to do this. Do you swear to tell the whole truth?
I swear to tell the whole truth.
All right, very good. Will there be anybody else, any other folks with you that will be speaking? If so, we need them to introduce them. So let's go ahead and introduce them now and swear them in.
Not sure if we're going to be speaking, but this is Mason and Stan Harp, so we can swear ourselves in if you'd like us as well. Here we are.
Yeah, Mason, if you don't mind, give me your first, last name and state your address, and the same thing for your brother.
It's father. It's Mason and Mason Harp, 2445 the Divine Street.
And
I'm Stan Harp, and I'm at 2445 Divine Street also.
Okay.
Columbia, South Carolina.
Okay. If you folks will just raise your hand in case you do want to say something, and just repeat after me. I swear to tell the whole truth.
Swear to tell the whole truth.
Okay, very good.
Thanks,
All right. Ms. Hodges, anything you would like to share with us at this point?
I don't have much to add to the staff report. I think this is a pretty straightforward waiver request. It is for 2 general commercial lots. If I remember correctly, they have not been divided yet, but this is in anticipation of dividing the property in half.
Right.
If you have any particular questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
And they have already gotten BZA waiver approval for setbacks. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I listened to that one, so I feel like I have a good idea what y'all are trying to do. Any other questions from commissioners for Ms. Hodges? Okay, Mr. Banks, it's not your first rodeo with us, so I'll turn it over to you if you'd like to give us some insights.
Yes, tonight we're meeting on this site. And the reason for this buffer variance is to allow this project to be developed. It's basically going to be developed as one development, but we will have 2 property owners. That came along kind of late, and well, Well, Mason and Dan told me that they wanted to subdivide the property, you know, when we were going through this process, and I told them we had to go through this, you know, but it will be developed as one. The buildings will be two separate builders, but we're talking about having just one contractor. The site itself, the parking, even though we meet the parking requirements on each lot, there will be shared parking. The Starbucks is a morning time, generally morning time use. I mean, people do get coffee all day, but you know, they'll be parking on Arby's property, and then Arby's, when they open up for lunch, you know, they'll have more parking, so it'll be sharing, and it'll be basically one development with two property owners. So, and we do have connectivity between the two with driveways which cross this property line. We have handicap accessibility that crosses the property line for that reason. So we just feel that it's needed for this project to have buffer variance. I believe you need undo your sound though.
Yeah, you're muted, Britton, if you had.
Keep me straight, guys. Any questions from commissioners for Mr. Banks? I think it's a nice project for that area. Fits nicely. Fits nicely. Okay. Ms. Hodges, do we have any public comments?
I did not receive any public comments for this item.
Okay. So I'm gonna close the public hearing. And I'm gonna give commissioners one more chance if they have any questions for the applicant before we talk among ourselves. Okay, very good. Anything that commissioners we need to say about this among ourselves is your chance. Okay, so what we're going to do is we'll do this by roll call. Bear with me here. So what I'm going to ask is I will ask each commissioner by roll call, do you believe, and then I'll read the criteria. So we're going to do the first criteria, roll call each person. You'll tell me yes or no. Do you believe the second criteria, and we'll do all 5 of those. So criteria 1, Planning Commission, do you believe the proposed waivers do not appear to conflict with the goals and policies of the comprehensive plan or the purposes underlining the standard? Commissioner Key.
Are we the answer affirmative?
Yes, affirmative would be just say yes.
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Watt.
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Mackey.
Yes.
Commissioner Crawford.
Yes.
Commissioner Clark.
Yes.
And I state yes. Okay, number 2, do you believe the applicant demonstrates through documentation and or studies based on generally accepted engineering principles that adherence to the standard provided by this chapter would pose a threat to health and safety or would undermine a policy set forth in the comprehensive plan or the purposes underlying the standard? Commissioner Key, yes?
Yes.
Commissioner Watts?
Yes.
Commissioner Mackey?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawford?
Yes.
Commissioner Clark?
Yes.
And I do as well. Criteria number 3, do you believe the applicant consents to alternative standards and the Planning Commission finds that such standard is consistent with the comprehensive plan, will protect the public health, safety, and general welfare, and is consistent with the purposes underlining the standards? Commissioner Key?
Yes.
Commissioner Watts,
Yes.
Commissioner Mackey,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawford,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark,
Yes.
and I do as well, yes. Criteria number 4, do you believe the economic burden imposed on the applicant to comply with the generally applicable standards outweigh the public purpose for such standard? Commissioner Key.
Yes.
Commissioner Watts,
Yes.
Commissioner Mackey,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawford,
Yeah. Yes.
Commissioner Clark,
Yes.
and I do as well. And then finally, 5th criteria, do you believe compliance with the generally applicable standards is impracticable due to unique topographical or other site conditions? Commissioner Key,
Yes.
Commissioner Watts,
Yes.
Commissioner Mackey,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawford,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark,
Yes.
I do as well. Okay. All right, and Commissioner Crawford, I'm going to give you the night off tonight. I'm going to read this motion for you. You always do such a good job. It's a long one, so I'm going to let you have the night off, okay?
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's all good. So at this point, I'm going to, as chair, I'll make a motion based on the findings of the 5 discussed criteria and voted on. I move that application MZ 20-003, a request by the HR Developers LLC for waiver of North Augusta Development Code Article 10, landscape buffers, Table 10.6, buffer width and landscape requirement of open space be granted with the 4 conditions listed by staff report on page 6. Is there a second of my motion?
I'll second.
Commissioner Crawford's a second. Any final discussion? Then we will go roll call one more time for approval. Commissioner Key,
Yes.
Commissioner Watts,
Yay.
Commissioner Mackey, Commissioner
Yes.
Mackey, Commissioner Crawford,
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Clark, Commissioner Clark,
Yes.
and myself. So it's okay. All right. So that's unanimous. So y'all been approved by the waivers.
Yes.
Okay. We will now move on. Y'all stay here because you'll be up next again. No swearing in this time. We're on item 8, application SP 20-003, a request by HR Developers LLC for approval of a major site plan application for an RV/Starbucks development on approximately plus or minus 1.43 acre zone GC general commercial located near the corner of Walnut Lane and Edgefield Road. TPN 010-10-04-062. The property falls within the Highway Corridor Overlay District. And at this point, I would ask Ms. Hodges, anything you would like to share concerning this?
I don't have a lot to add on this, just that, this is the final piece of this RV Starbucks adventure. This will be the final approval that Planning Commission will have to give us in order for us to make sure any comments are addressed and that the final site plan is issued.
Okay. Any questions for Ms. Hodges from commissioners? All right. Mr. Banks, if you'd like to, anything you would like to share? Mr. Banks, anything you'd like to share, sir? I guess not.
Sorry, I had to cut my mic off.
That's okay.
Yes,
Anything you'd like to share, sir?
Yeah, I would. I mean, I think this fits nicely in with this area. These are 2 quality, tenants or restaurants that are coming in. I know the Starbucks there's already one, in not close proximity, but it's overrun. So I think this will be a good addition.
What's the time frame of getting it started and when it would be you expect to be completed?
I would hate to, standard, would y'all speak on that?
As soon as you guys give us approval. Just kidding. Yeah, we've got a few more hoops, but I think we would like to get started. I think Mr. Banks has got the civil drawings done. We tie into a master detention pond. All the DOT encroachments are there. We're not having to ask for any new encroachment permits. So I would hope that we could probably get started sometime maybe November for a spring opening for both stores.
Okay, good. Okay. Any questions for the applicants from the commissioners? Okay, then I would ask if the commissioners have anything we need to say among ourselves before I entertain a motion. Okay, who would like to make a motion then?
In respect to application SP 20-003, I'd like to make a motion for the approval of the major site plan for the RB Starbucks development on approximately 1.4 acres zoned GC.
All right, that's a motion by Commissioner Key. Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
I'll second.
Commissioner Watt, second. Okay. Any final discussion? Then I will take a vote. Commissioner Key?
Yes.
Commissioner Watts?
Yes.
Commissioner Mackey?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawford?
Yes.
Commissioner Clark? Commissioner Clark? Can't hear you. Commissioner Clark, you're not muted, but I can't hear you. Okay. I'm going to say yes. So, Commissioner Clark, can you? Okay. Is this thing working, Libby?
I can see.
Oh, Commissioner Clark. Yes. Okay. Okay, it's a yes. All right, that's unanimous.
Yes.
So, John, nice to have you in town
Yes.
with us. Appreciate the efforts and look forward to drinking some coffee up there.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
it.
Thank y'all for
Thanks.
coming out. Y'all have a good day.
Sir.
Good evening. Whew. All right, Ms. Hodges, staff report.
Honestly, I think we got through that in just about record time. So the only, well, I have a number of things, but you'll see in your packet our regular monthly report for July. Applications are steady. We're just as busy as we can possibly be right now. The virus seems to have made zero effect on what we're getting in. So just be aware of that. I'll turn my camera on so some of you can see me if you're watching the who's speaking. Just a few other updates from different projects planning and development is working on. The steering committee for the development code rewrite has been appointed. I got an email this afternoon that there are a couple more members that will be added to that as well. So hopefully we will be looking to have a kickoff meeting early to mid September.
Would you state who on the planning commission will be on that representing us?
So right now we have Bob Clark will be representing us, as well as Dr. Christine Crawford.
Very good.
So look forward to working with everyone on that. It's going to be a really interesting project. Just to give you an update on a couple of other projects that have kind of been humming along, you may have seen a post on the city's website about the Knob Cone Sidewalk project. That's a transportation alternative project that's funded through arts and the federal government. That one is under a public comment period. Hopefully, once the public comment period is over, we'll be able to proceed with bidding and actually getting the work started. There's no further action needed. We just have to go through this public comment period to meet federal requirements. Y'all are all more than welcome to go on there and leave comments about how awesome the project is, because it is. We asked for some additional funding that we did receive for that project. So that is very good. That's very exciting. We have, under the same program, we have a Greenway extension project to Mayfield Drive. And that one, I'm assuming we will have a public comment period on it as well. It's a little earlier in the process, so I'll have more information on that later. The ARTS MTP, the Metropolitan Transportation Plan, the 2050 plan, hopefully will be adopted September 6th. Those are the plans we've been working on since, staff has been working on it for about a year, but we had the open house in March, right before the virus hit, and hopefully that will be done soon. There are a few projects on there that will be good for North Augusta, and we look forward to further updates in the future. I am currently writing a request for proposals for a study for Georgia Avenue, for that traffic calming and pedestrian access, as well as an overall transportation plan. The funds have been approved from ARTS, and that's a 20% match from the city on those projects. The Martintown Road study, we're still waiting for some final transportation or some study information from some of the adjacent property owners. As soon as we get that, we will be able to finalize the study and push all that information out. Some of the initial findings have been forwarded to council, and they've looked over them. I received just a few comments about it, so hopefully we'll be back with some more information on that really soon. A few projects that are just kind of happening outside of planning that are through SCDOT. The paving at Exit 1 for the improvements to where the light is going to go. I have heard in the past that it would be paved in the early part of August. Well, we're kind of into the middle of August, so hopefully that will be happening really, really soon. The light at Bergen Road, I do know, is in final design. There were a few utility conflicts that we're working around, so that's something that they're still working on as well. Please, I beg you all, please, to go ahead and do your online training. The way things are going, I mean, we've got stuff that has been canceled well into October and November, so I do not foresee any in-person training happening. Please go do that training. It is free. You can do it on your own time. Since all of you are returning members, you'll only need to do 3 hours. As soon as you get done with any portion of it, please send me the certificate of completion, and we'll get you squared away for this year.
Libby,
Yes, ma'am.
quick question. I thought that they sent it to you because I did one and didn't, and I thought that they said that they sent it. So I don't know that I forwarded it.
Okay. I don't know that I've seen it yet for you. So
that was a while ago. Okay.
Yeah, you may need to, if you've got a PDF of it.
Okay, I'll see if I can find it.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
We may be able to contact them as well and ask them to send it to me.
Okay, thank you.
So
it's only 1 hour, so it's not, I mean, the end of the world. Okay.
Well, it's something. It's an hour anyway.
Oh, yeah, because you can't stop once you start, just as an award. What else?
I'm just making myself a little note here.
Okay.
Okay. If any of you were watching the city council meeting this past Monday, you probably heard about several annexations that are happening along May Street in that area. Those are to clarify the city limits for the next generation 911. We met with Aiken County Addressing Wednesday, and that will be going, the next generation 911 will be going live on October 25th. So that's something to bear in mind. if people ask you about why certain things may be coming to them or why we're sending out letters asking for annexations, this is mostly what it's about. And it's just making sure that properties aren't split by property lines, because it makes it really hard for the GIS-based system to dispatch the correct 911 service. We'll also have some addresses that they are going through and doing some quality assurance, quality control on some of our addresses in the city. We have very, very few that may have to be changed. Mostly it's going to be deactivating addresses for, buildings that may have burned down or been removed. So in case anybody asks you about it or calls you upset about it, that's what it is. And you can send them to me for more information. Just to touch on staffing issues within planning department as well. Code enforcement is a little bit slow right now. We're managing. We've gotten around, as of the last couple of days, we've cleared any backlog we may have had. So we are out and we are doing code enforcement and operating just as well as we possibly can. So if you hear any complaints about that, we have cleared that backlog. So if y'all have any questions for me, or I know I went through a whole bunch of stuff real fast, but happy to answer any questions.
I have a question. I think you and I talked about this prior to the city council meeting, but if y'all are not aware, on the 31st, there's going to be a study session that city council is going to be talking about a number of important items, but one of them has to do with the 13th Street Bridge project. And that is going to be a once in a generational lifetime project, basically, of redoing the 13th Street Bridge and connecting both sides to the paths to make it more walkable. And I didn't know, Ms. Hodges, if maybe you could just give a real brief macro overview of what that's about, just to kind of whet the appetite so they can make sure they listen to the study session, where I believe council can go in a lot more detail, right?
Sure. So that is a project that is in process. It is a Georgia DOT project. So this is not a project that South Carolina is doing. There was an agreement several years ago where they kind of switch off who replaces which bridges when, the bridges that connect the two states. So this is a Georgia DOT project, same as I-20 bridge project right at the moment. It's a Georgia DOT project as well. They are going to cover the basic structure of the bridge. It appears, from what they have told us so far, that it will be adding a multi-use lane on one side and a sidewalk on the other. So there will be some added width to the bridge, and it will be more accessible than it is right at the moment. If anybody's ever watched people walk out there, I have not taken my life into my hands to try to walk down that sidewalk personally. So that part is covered. We are trying to work with Georgia DOT and trying to find some funding and trying to decide what kind of aesthetic improvements we may want to make to the bridge, trying to talk a little bit about how the bridge sidewalks and multi-use paths will connect hopefully to our greenway. This also kind of meshes together with the Georgia Avenue study I have gotten approval to do as well. So all of these kind of mesh together and hopefully will complement each other by the end. But it's my understanding on the 31st, they'll be talking about some of the aesthetic options and the council's preferences for that.
Oh, that's good. I just recommend, urge all of the planning commission to listen to that if you can. I think it'll be very informative. So thank you, Ms. Hodges. Any other questions y'all have for Ms. Hodges? Libby? Okay, well, thank each of you for what you're doing and being here tonight. Stay safe and look forward to talking to you soon. Y'all have a good evening. We stand adjourned.
Good night.